They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. I gotta take a shot, now pass me the ball. Always wanna stop me when I'm running the ball. Gotta dust it off, now watch me go.
Hello, welcome to Pitch Football at the Euros with me, Ian Chambers, Abigail Davies, the one and only Paul Ince. And Paul Ince is golf partner slash... Are you best mates? Would you say best mates?
Yes, I would say that, yes.
Yeah, good.
Well, especially as he's put me up, you're definitely best mates.
Absolutely. Derek, welcome back. It's been a while.
It's great to be here. Best mates is a little bit overstretching it. He's a paying guest. That's as good as a guest at the moment.
Well, this show's going to be big for many reasons. One, just the fact that you're here, Derek.
Thank you.
England, huge. And you've got a bit of a quiz lined up for the man over there, haven't you?
I have indeed. That's why he's been a bit nicer to me this morning.
Always, Abby, you're a lady.
We'll get to that.
First time you've called me that as well.
It's quiz day.
Today's quarterfinals are, of course, Czech Republic versus Denmark and Ukraine versus England. We will, of course, get to England. But first, let's talk about the other three teams involved today and how they made it here to this stage. Let's start with Czech Republic. 2-0 win. It was another upset, really, when they knocked out the Dutch. They've got some serious confidence on their side.
Yeah, they have. I mean, they've got some good players. I said before, you know, they remind me of a team that are just balanced. They know their jobs. There's not many stars in the side. You know, I know we got Schick, who's probably the main man in their team, but they all know their jobs. It's a bit like the Wales side. You know, they've got a lot of spirit, a lot of togetherness. You know, and the fact there's no big stars, there's no egos. Sometimes can take you a long way, and you know, beating the Dutch was a shock for all of us, wasn't it? You know, we was all talking about how great the Dutch were and how we're going to go through to the next round. And it just shows in tournament football, especially knockout football, that teams like that are organised, know their jobs, you know, can get through. So, you know, I'm looking forward to this game.
They made the most of that match-changing scenario, didn't they? Because within about 50 seconds, the Dutch had a great chance with Marlon, and then he missed that. De Ligt got sent off, and the Dutch never recovered, but the Czechs took that opportunity. So, yeah, great, well-organised side. I do feel a bit sad for them because it's impossible for them to get their fans to get to Azerbaijan. It's a big occasion for them, and I think, you know, to enter they need a visa, they need a PCR test, and it's just, you know, it just kind of saps the fun out of the quarter-final for them.
Yeah, but to be fair, I just go back to the England game at Wembley.
Yeah.
The Czechs weren't great.
They weren't.
You know, England weren't great, but what we're seeing now, we're seeing these teams just gather momentum, just building their form's getting better and better each game. So, you know, the Czechs are kind of hitting the right form at the right time.
Derek, any team, you've obviously been forced to watch a lot of football because you are living with Mr. Ince here. Any teams made it to the quarters that you're surprised by?
England.
Oh, come on now.
No, in fairness, I mean, the game was so riveting the other night that I actually fell asleep.
We were going to mention that if you didn't.
I've got a picture of it, by the way.
Have you?
Yeah.
Out cold.
Video, I think.
The best part of the Euros for me actually has been the celebrations. You just, you know, the likes of Paul Pogba when he did celebration after his wonder goal against France. They still in. Oh no, they're out. They're gone. So I love that sort of thing. I love that sort of thing.
Are you going to celebrate if you get your quiz right? Are you going to do a bit of a Pogba dance?
Probably not. I'm not that good, and I don't have the hairstyle. But no, I think in fairness, I think England have as good a chance as they ever had to win the tournament.
There's a soundbite. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, no problem.
Look, Czech Republic, you mentioned there about team spirit, and they look solid. The definition of team spirit is this Denmark side, right?
Absolutely, but I think, you know, obviously a lot of emphasis has been on how this is now a fairy tale for them, but we have to focus on the skill they have. You know, you don't score that many goals in 2 games, 8 goals in 2 games without having the ability as well. Of course, the desire, I think, care at the back has been fantastic. But yeah, you can't get this far just because it's a fairy tale and because they want to do it for Eriksen. Of course, that plays a part before the game, but when they get on that pitch, it is all down to their ability on it.
Have they been a bit underestimated, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think we didn't mention them at the start about being dark horses. But yeah, another team I think is solid. Another team, as Abby said, they are scoring goals.
Yeah.
They got 4 against Russia. They're not teams who, they've got a style of play, they've got an attacking style of play, and they're sticking to that style. They're not trying to change it, they're not trying to be different. You know, providing the opposition they're playing against. This is the way we play, and this is how we do it. And if it takes us a certain distance, then great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And Abby's right. The Eriksen thing was such a devastating thing that happened.
It was.
But the players are now kind of got their focus away from that, and they're now focusing and concentrating on just trying to win this tournament.
But they've also had, per 90 minutes, 37 touches in the opposition's box on average. That's more than any other side competing in this. Is that a stat that blows you away, Derek?
Yeah, touching in other people's boxes is always a very big stat, and obviously the question is though,
Get
as
him
a
off.
result of the touches, have they scored?
Get him
You know, that's
Yeah,
what it's all about, and
have.
that's what it's about, getting it in the back of the net.
Well,
You should be a coach. You really should be a coach.
Speaking of underestimating, I mean, Ukraine came through after a 2-1 win over Sweden after extra time. England cannot underestimate this side.
Do you know what? I'll be shocked if they can field 11 players, Ukraine, because the way they were going down and rolling
Yeah,
around,
it was
I'll
embarrassing.
be shocked if they've got 11 players fit, because the injuries they were sustaining from very minimal contact, you know, it'll
You're
be
saying
amazing.
we should just have the gimme and go through to the semis without even playing, right?
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but I think we have to touch on the red card, which is something that we were discussing during the game. It was never a red for me, and I think, you know, you're getting to the point where every time you kick the ball, you go into follow through. Obviously, not that follow through, but the other type of follow through, the good follow through. And you go into how do you eliminate doing that when you kick a football?
You can't. Momentum's, you know, if you're making a tackle, and we saw the tackle from the centre half of Sweden, he's won the ball,
Yeah.
and the lad's running full pelt at him. And listen, the worst thing about it, when you look at these decisions and you look at on the VAR, they slow it down and it looks more bad than what it is. But you talk about ascending offs, you talk about, and I said to you before, discipline can cost you. Referees'
Yeah.
bad decisions can cost you. We saw it with Wales, with Ampadu. We saw it with Calvin Phillips, who did exactly the same tackle, got a yellow card.
I'd say it was worse.
Should have got a red card.
Yeah.
That could have changed the dynamics of the game. And then we saw it again against the Ukraine-Sweden game. So referees got to be careful to get these decisions right, because they're getting teams knocked out of tournaments, and you know, we need to sort that out.
I think as well, a player getting injured doesn't necessarily equate to it being a foul.
No, it doesn't.
And
It
I think
doesn't.
that's where it gets lost a bit. The referee often looks at how injured a player is, or whether whether they're going to be able to carry on, and that'll determine whether he gives a red. And I don't think that's the right way to go.
Incy, you're quite a private man. You don't let many people in, do you?
No, I don't.
Especially not close enough to you to hear you snoring in the night and complain about it and have to put up with his dogs jingling and all that sort of stuff.
I also think during that England game, I genuinely saw them holding hands. Now, Derek was okay to admit this, but Paul, you weren't, were you? But there was definite contact there.
No, well, it wasn't one of those. I just put my hand in a certain place,
And he's landed there as well.
and he's landed at
Yeah.
the same time. But that's the thing we do. We just have this kind of chemistry.
Chemistry.
Chemistry that we
I
have.
know what you mean.
Listen, you. So I just want to build this man up a little bit before we really test him. So I remember getting here, and he introduces himself. He's called Derek. Everyone else is calling him Romeo.
No, just me.
Okay, why?
Huh?
Is that a story for another day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Most definitely.
So you two play golf together. Me and Abby have become very aware of how competitive this man is.
Yeah.
When you're on the golf course with him, what's it like, Derek?
Playing with Paul,
Yeah.
always a pleasure.
But is he competitive?
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. He cheats like nobody's business. Anything.
Do not be throwing those accusations out. I don't do a golf. That's cheap.
Now, let's say gamesmanship comes into play an awful lot when we're playing golf, and it's good banter. No, he doesn't cheat. We keep the score correct, but his memory sometimes fades.
I see.
You know, sometimes fades.
Is he a good partner?
He was
Well,
up
it's-
until
the-
now.
well, the only problem I say with my partner,
Yeah.
and he'll have to admit that, is that when he hits the ball, he doesn't know where it's gone. Sorry, because his eyes are absolutely terrible. So he hit the ball and he goes, "Where's that gone?" So Derek left there in the rough. Or, Derek, where's that gone? Down the middle on the right hand side. And like we're in the buggy and he drive past his ball. You can't see it. You know, so normally it's going to be a 4-hour round, it's not about a 6-hour
That's
round.
what I bring him for. That's the reason that he's with me. Is
But,
that
we're,
he's my
but we're,
ball
we're,
watcher.
we're unbeaten. You know,
Yes.
We're unbeaten, and I know we've got a game on Sunday.
We have.
Big game.
We'll talk about that later on.
We'll talk about that another time. Abby, I know you've been spending time with these two as well. What's his sport? And I think it's time we give him a bit of a test.
It is. It's rugby.
Mm-hmm.
How confident are you feeling?
Not very. I feel a stitch up coming somewhere large.
Not at all. Not at all. We've.
Genuine questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we
Words
get
out
into
on
it?
this.
I'll get
Are
into
you
it.
ready?
Yes, I am.
Right, question number 1. How many rugby league players were selected for the 1997 tour of South Africa? We got multiple choice. Do you need multiple choice?
3.
You've gone in with an answer when you were offered multiple choice, and the answer's 6.
6.
Just so you know, you need to get 5 out of 7 here to
Yeah.
complete
Yes.
the task. If you don't, you have to sing 3 lines with Abby.
Yeah.
Hear it.
Which country have the Lions played but never beaten?
Which country have they played but
Yeah.
never beaten? In a series or
Paul, this was your question, so I'm going to hand this to you.
in a series.
yeah,
Never
look,
beaten in a series.
So you can have, do you want multiple choice?
Well, it says South Africa.
South Africa, New Zealand, Australia,
Australia.
or Fiji.
Ooh, threw the old Fijian in there.
Just to mix up a bit. You know what I mean? Just throw that Fiji one in for you.
Well, from a series point
From
of
a Fiji
view,
one in.
from a series point of view, they haven't beaten the All Blacks. But from a team point of view, they drew with Fiji.
Fiji is.
Fiji. Yeah,
Correct.
give you that. Who took over as Lions tour captain when Brian O'Driscoll got injured in 2005?
Oh,
You know the answer to this. I know you do.
I even got
Gareth
this
Thomas.
Right. Yeah,
Boom.
yeah.
boom.
Boom, boom.
The
Right, we've got a
last-
minute. We've got to go quick.
The last
Right.
Welshman to lead the Lions on tour?
Sam Warburton.
No, Phil Bennett.
I beg your pardon, that's very wrong. Sam Warburton.
This was his question.
Sam Warburton.
This was
Tim
his
Warburton.
question. Name two of the three
stitch up.
teams the Lions will face in the warm-up before facing South Africa A.
Name the two teams.
Yes.
Two of the three teams the Lions will face.
The Jaguars in Johannesburg and pass. It's a false.
No.
Right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to a quick break.
Yeah, and we're going to take this one.
Yeah.
You've got to stay with us.
Yeah.
You've got to stay with us. Just
Okay.
just for a few minutes.
Yeah.
I know you're going to go. You can go halfway through.
Okay.
But we will be back testing Bruce Willis with more of these questions in a couple of minutes. And if you haven't downloaded the Pitch Football app yet, you need to get it done. Get it downloaded. And when should they do it, NC? We'll be back with Bruce, Abby, and NC after the break.
They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. I gotta take a shot, now pass me the
Welcome back to Pitch Football at the Euros with me, Ian Chambers, Abigail Davis, Paul Ince, and Derek. Derek is Ince's good friend, golf partner. We're giving him a bit of a rugby test right now. There's been a bit of controversy though, Abby. What's
Yeah,
happened?
There has. So, his answer for the last Welshman to lead the Lions tour,
Sam Warburton.
and we can now confirm he's correct.
That's my fault.
I told you to stitch him up, didn't I?
I know.
told him.
I know.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
that was my question. That's it.
That's my
it.
question.
I'm taking it. Right, so how many
Right,
does
okay.
he need to get right? I think we've got to get two more right, is that
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Two
that's
out of three.
correct. So, name two of the three teams the Lions will face.
We've done that question.
Yeah, but we didn't give
I
you an
passed
answer.
on it.
Right,
passed.
okay.
Ah.
The answers are the Emirates Lions, Chelsea Sharks, and Vodacom Bulls.
You're dead right.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, yeah.
Correct. Correct.
So-
Let's put a bit of jeopardy in the air right now.
Yeah.
So just a reminder, if you don't pass this quiz, you are standing up with Abigail. And what are they singing?
3 Lions.
3 lines on a shirt. What's your voice like? Is it good?
He's got a good voice to be
I hope
fair.
you know the words because I don't.
I do.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
no problem.
Right. Question 6. Name two Scottish props in the 2021 South Africa tour.
You got this.
The only two. The only
Uh,
two. The only two.
Yeah, Zager.
Vega?
Zagerfen.
What's wrong
Zager.
with you?
Is he alright? Is he,
He's got a very long Dutch name.
Is he frothing?
Chancelessly.
is he frothing at the mouth a little
No,
bit?
no.
then?
I should know his
You got it, you're
name.
close to it.
Zagerfeld.
No.
Zagerfield.
Nope.
No. Okay.
You're close. You're so close.
Let's give him it.
And who's the other one?
Oh, the
No,
other
we're not
one.
giving him
Who's
that.
the other one? Who's the other one? Macintosh. Haven't a clue.
Xander.
Sanderfeld.
No.
That's his first name, Xander. Fagerson.
No.
Right.
Gone.
Here's what do we, let's just
Right, okay.
deliberate real quick, right? He's sort of lost the quiz
Yeah.
already.
What do you mean?
No, he's got one more to
There's
go.
one more. So what
Yeah.
I'm saying is, for all the marbles, baby.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you willing to put all the marbles up?
All the marbles.
Are you willing to put all the marbles up?
Yes.
Let's
Okay.
go.
I do apologise to
So,
all rugby fans.
Last question. What is the name of the Lions anthem commissioned by Sir Clive Woodward in 2005?
For all the marbles.
He knows it, I can tell.
It doesn't know it.
He
Come
does.
I know he don't know it. It doesn't know it.
Come on.
The anthem was.
No, not what
Yeah.
is.
Here it is.
Excuse me. The anthem was Oasis song. I'm not worried about Clive Woodward. He hadn't a clue about rugby. But the boys always sang "Don't Look Back in Anger."
Yeah, but that was.
By
That's
Oasis.
not the question or the
That's
answer.
real, true rugby fans know that that's the answer.
So, in other words, you don't know the answer.
Yeah.
I don't know Clive Woodward. What sort of music he likes?
No, it's a national
The
anthem.
answer we were looking for was the power of 4.
Thank you very much. Thanks
Listen,
for having the show.
I'll see you on the karaoke machine.
see you on the karaoke.
I've got to say, I do apologise, but nobody ever sings that song.
Okay.
Don't look back in that.
Clive Woodward does.
Listen, you've been great as per usual,
No.
Derek. We love having you on the show. We know you've got to scoot off,
Yep.
pick up your daughter from the airport. So thank you for joining us. I'm sure we'll have you on one more time. What do you reckon?
See you sleeping
Excuse
beauty.
me, can you make sure you make my bed, please, and, and do the dishes?
I'll just. Sorry, just gonna say I'll get a clothes peg for his nose because he snores
Derek,
badly.
you can stay here. You can stay here for a second. Look, we want to talk about England. Of course we do. It's the big game today. Before we do, let's look back to that amazing,
In
iconic,
anger.
monumental win over Germany. And we spoke to some of the fans outside of Wembley.
This is James Helder for the Euro Bureau here on pitch. With me, I'm quite fortunate enough to be joined by one of my returning guests. Firstly, give me your analysis of England versus Germany.
Over the moon with that. Absolutely over the moon. I don't know what more to say. Buzzing.
When I saw the lineups, I was thinking, oh my God, why is he going with the back three? But England dominated every position on the park.
Mate, it's been a sick game tonight. England have had it against Germany. The football's coming home right now.
I think he set it up right. Everyone was saying it's very negative, but you look at the way they're passing backwards and drawing that German defence out and creating space behind. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Third goal for Raheem Sterling in the tournament. Again, how much does it mean to you as an Englishman to see him firing?
Big player. Big play. And the maddest thing is, a lot of people were saying to him, like slyly, he might saying about him, he might not be in the squad, shouldn't be starting because he didn't have an amazing season for City, but he's proven everyone wrong. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, man.
I'm buzzing for Sterling because there's just a huge section of England fans and media who hate him for some reason. So I'm glad for him.
Harry Kane's announced himself today. Are you confident he can now find his goal-scoring boots in the tournament going forward?
It's Harry Kane. Yeah, obviously.
I thought at first we'd lose 7 at the back, but then Raheem Sterling came alive. Harry Kane banged his first Euro goal. Pickford was making saves, which I didn't think would happen. And to be honest, I think now Germany's out the way. That's our final. Now we have to go on and win it.
I mean, every England fan, I reckon, will possibly disagree with the starting lineup.
Just have a look around
Defensive.
here. Just have a look around the place. Everybody's buzzing off.
But again, it was a defensive lineup. I think when Grealish come on, I think he changed the game.
His defensive tactics, but they're working, aren't they?
He's a villain.
I knew as soon as Grealish came on the pitch, it's done. It's a long day. Yeah, Grealish next game he has to start. It's as simple as that, man. But we played well. I think we shut them down. They had one chance from a Sterling little mistake, but we played good. We played very good.
We're playing at home. You want to attack at home, but I would take doing a Greece 2004 1-0 wins throughout the tournament and bringing it home.
Cannot believe it. We got the best chance of getting to the final than we ever have. Could win it this year, mate. I honestly believe it's coming home.
It's coming, football's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming, football's coming home. It's coming home.
Love it. Love the energy. Of course I do. I don't think you're as optimistic as these lovely England fans that we just threw to there, but you got to love the positivity back home right now.
Yeah, it's back, isn't it?
It is back.
Yeah, it is back, and as I said, we've just come out of a pandemic, and it's great to see the fans back. It's great to see the smiles on their face. It's great to see, the belief again. The faith that I've got in the national side, and it's funny though because when I go back to the Germany game and the players knelt down, there was still a few boos that kind of rang out in the stadium. I think the fact that we've now beaten the Germans, I think that should take away the focus of the boos in the crowd. I think the fans now realise that this is a great opportunity, to get to the final, to even win it at Wembley. And I think all their focus now is going to be giving that energy to the players, in the next game or throughout the tournament.
Let me ask you, take off your hater hat for a second.
I've not had it on.
No, you haven't had it on for a while. Do you think that the belief is warranted?
I do. I think Gareth Southgate, whatever team he picks, on social media you're going to have people going, why aren't you starting Foden? Why aren't you starting Rashford? But he's stuck to his beliefs. Even Sterling, he knows, and I think he's got the perfect balance, which I don't know if you've been able to say about England for a while, that he's picked a balance of players who are there on merit for what they've done for their country and people who are in form. You know, it's not all Sterling. Maybe not in form at the end of the season, but he stuck with him. And then you've brought through players who have been in form as well. So I think that's a good balance to have as well. People who've done it for England and new players coming through. Like you saw Saka, you know, he just embraced it all. I think he said in an interview that when he walked onto the pitch, he just went, wow. And he said it out loud. But he, you know, he's someone who's still so young, but he took that on and he wasn't fazed by the occasion. He wasn't overawed. And in the first half, I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Or he disagrees.
No, I'm not saying I disagree.
right.
I just, you know, a lot of people talk about, you know, the players and that, but no one mentions Gareth Southgate and what he's done and how he's changed the personnel, how he's changed the formation. When he went to a 3 against Germany to match them up, we were going, what are you doing that for? You know, you've just had 3 games in the group stages where you've had 3 clean sheets, and now you're going to 3 at the back. And that's what I said to you before, sometimes you look at a team, you look at an opposition, and you play according to that. And matching them up was probably the right thing to do. But the thing about Southey is that he had Henderson there, you know, and he said, no, I'm still going to go with Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips. You know, which was a big decision to make, which is such a big game against the Germans, to just think, well, I've got Henderson in there at my disposal, but I'm still going to go and show the belief in those 2 players, as well as Saka. I was kind of out for Foden to start. Didn't start. And it was proven right. And so Southey deserves a lot of credit.
He does.
Do you think, sorry, just quickly, do you think up until now, I've always felt that Southgate is 1 game away from being berated and from having that pressure, but I think there's a change after that German game. I think it's not bought in time is the wrong term, but I feel that less people are on his backs now. And I actually thought his post-match interview was quite sad, where he was asked about, you know, feeling the pressure of 96, and he said he still does. And I just feel, you know, his answer was quite upsetting to think that he still has had that on his shoulders.
Yeah, I don't think, you know, I think it's something you don't want to be hearing, you know, keep going back to that.
Exactly.
It's done now, isn't it?
It's done, it's
I
past,
agree.
he's got to move on. There's no case of redemption for Southey.
No.
He doesn't think that way, you know. And listen, ultimately, the pressure was not on Southey for the German game. Expectations were for the Germans to beat us like they always do. You know, now the pressure's on. Because as you hear what the fans are saying, we've got a nice, not saying nice easy journey, but a journey that we're expected to win to get to the final.
We've spoken a lot about, you know, prior to Kane scoring, the attacking force that England has, Sterling getting some goals. Let's talk about the defence. It's been stellar, hasn't it? You can't argue with the clean sheets, and Pickford's been outstanding too.
Pickford's been very good, and obviously, you know, I do feel sorry for you know, Tyrone Mings, because he was part of that defence, you know, and the only thing he changed really was Maguire, bringing Maguire back in for the Scotland game. So you got to feel sorry for Mings, but I think Maguire's, you know, the way he plays, the way he carries the ball out, is exceptional as a leader. And you see, if you're going to keep clean sheets, then the attackers know they've got to do their job. The last thing you want is a team to concede 2 or 3 goals, and you've got to go and score 3 and 4. So the defence has been phenomenal.
First 50-60 minutes, I thought Maguire was the best player on the pitch. I think, you know, he took
Had
the
a couple
game.
of chances, didn't he? But
that header, you know, you do think he maybe should have scored that, but I think the way he just takes the game by the scruff of the neck from defence, I think that's hugely important for England going forward. And, you know, the only nation in this competition who've kept 4 clean sheets. You know, it's hard for me to say it because it's stuck there. It's stuck there.
Your body wanted to reject it. You didn't want to do it.
I was almost sick, wasn't I? I almost spewed it out.
I'll tell you what, we'll go to a break so you can go be sick. We will be back with more England conversation. We're just scratching the surface. So much more to talk about. If you haven't already downloaded the Pitch Football app, you need to do it now. Importantly, check out Foreplay, because you could win yourself a round of golf with Paul Ince. More on that later on.
They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. I gotta take a shot, now pass me the ball.
And we're back. You're watching Pitch Football at the Euros with me, Ian, Abby and Incy. We were just reflecting now, before we look ahead to our huge quarter-final, England-Ukraine, later on this evening. Let's reflect once again on the Germany game. We've spoken about Jack Grealish. You know, when he did come on, he did change the game. And it's no surprise that, you know, the goals that came from England came from the channels that he dominated.
Yeah, I mean, I think I always said, you know, at the start that Jack was always going to be an impact player. I don't think he was ever going to start a game, really, unless there was going to be a few injuries. But we've seen that when there is a bit of space and the opposing teams are chasing the game, it's absolutely suited for him perfectly. You know, he, excuse me, he can get on the ball, he can turn. We see him for Villa, he loves it down that left-hand side. The way he combines, you know, with McGinn and Ollie Watkins when he's at Villa. And he's done exactly the same for England. We know he's a talented player. You know, I know that he's probably sitting there thinking, I want to start games and I want more time to show what I can do. But it's a team game, and he's shown that when he comes on, he's making a massive impact.
And to still do that when, you know, I think a few of his other performances, maybe you're thinking, right, surely I've done enough to start now. And even when he doesn't, he's not sulking, he's not going off and thinking I should be starting, he still comes on and does the job. And I think some of that does come down to Southgate and maybe the conversations he's having with him. He knows what his duty is, he knows what he's there to do, and he's just embracing it, isn't he?
Well, I think to be fair, when you look at it and you think, where do you play Jack Grealish? You know, do you play him? Do you play him on the left-hand side? Do you play him as a number 10? You know, where do you actually play him? And I think against the Germans, I think by playing Sterling on the left and Saka on the right, it wasn't just from an attacking point of view; it was also from a defensive point of view. Players who've got that willingness and desire to run back and do the defensive side of the things, and I think that's why he went that way. So it actually worked out a treat. You know, and you're always going to get people who are going to question the formation. People always going to have an opinion.
Yes.
He should be playing, he should be in, why is he not in?
Yeah.
No one's saying that he's going to be an impact player for the entirety of his international career, but can certain players really thrive on that role in certain tournaments?
Yeah, they can. Of course they can. I've seen Gaza do it.
Yeah.
You know, Gaza done that time and time again, and he started, you know, obviously every game, but he also did that defensive side of things. I said whether there's a kind of question mark whether Jack is prepared to do that other side of the nasty side of the work, so I call it. I don't know, but also just one of those players that you just give him the ball, let him do what he wants to do, and we do the dirty work behind him. But listen, he will get game time, you know, and that's what he can ask for. I think as a player going to the Euros, you want to get on the pitch, you want to be part of it. Yeah. Some of those players there are not even going to step onto the pitch. You know, he's fortunate that he's one of those players that, if called upon, he's going to be the first name that comes off the bench, and that's a good feeling to have sometimes.
I think as well the way that Southgate didn't rush, you know, that was the only attacking change he made when they needed a game changer, and I think it's that, again, the trusting the players that are on the pitch. I think it comes down to that, but he was the only one when people are going, oh, we should be bringing Foden on now, we should be doing this, we should be doing that, but he only made that one change and it completely changed the game. I think, you know, you talk about moments and you think if your man MVP had scored when he was one-on-one with Pickford, it's a completely different game.
Devastated.
And you were. I saw it with my own eyes. You were devastated. But, you know, from a German point of view, Kroos wasn't in the game. You had, you know, Germany didn't really turn up. He didn't control midfield. But Rice and Phillips, I thought they were absolutely fantastic, bearing in mind they were on yellow cards from quite early on.
Yeah.
And I think that just shows that maturity. I think Phillips at times, I think he was pressing out on his own when maybe he should have been sitting a little bit deeper and he shouldn't have been trying to press in isolation. But yeah, overall.
I think that's just probably just exuberance, you know what I mean? Just youth and inexperience, you know?
He actually made 11 recoveries against the Germans. That's the most by an England player in a single game at the tournament. And he's tidying up on the pitch, isn't he?
Yeah, that's his job. You know, it's the young sung hero job. You know, the one where you stop the attacks and you set up attacks, and that's what set midfield players should do. And he's very, very good at it. And I think that's the reason why he's in instead of Henderson. Not to say that Henderson's not a wonderful player, but he's kind of excelling himself in the role that he's in. And he would have never envisioned at the time of being in this squad that he would be playing in every game. And the Gareth Southgate are now playing in the quarterfinals against Ukraine. And Declan Rice, they complement each other very well. They've got legs, they can cover both sides of the park. And it's a good partnership. And he's always got that backup if things don't go well, bringing Henderson back on there if he wants to go with 3 in there. You know, so plenty of options. But the pressure starts now.
It really does. It really does. But we have chatted about, you know, teams growing into the tournament. It's been a successful tournament, albeit not all at all times super exciting for England. But are you sensing a growth?
I think that's tournament football, isn't it? We saw it with Portugal in 2016. It's not always about playing the exciting football and you know, going gung-ho in matches. It's about controlling the matches and taking your opportunities when they arise. And I think that's something that England are doing now. You know, we've seen it didn't work for France, it didn't work for Holland, going for that all-out attacking. We enjoyed watching them, but ultimately they're no longer in the tournament. So I think the approach, whilst it's not always attractive to watch, I think that's what you need in tournament football. You need to do what you can do to win that game.
Yeah, especially knockout football.
Yeah.
You know, for sure. And I just think, you know, I look at the games, I think we haven't really played great.
No.
We played well enough to do the job.
Yeah.
You know, and you go back to the Germany game against Portugal, where they were outstanding. They hit top form, and that's why it's probably we thought it was going to get beat by the Germans. But then again, they didn't play well. So no one's really playing outstanding in this tournament. And I'm hoping as we keep going on that England will find their form.
You've not needed to.
No.
You've said it before, haven't you? It's about great moments rather than great matches.
Yeah, it is, and it's got to be, because as I say, that there's a lot of teams that nullify each other. There's a lot of games, we're seeing we're not getting a lot of chances, So, but when those chances come, you've got to take them because it changes the whole dynamics of the game. But the fact that we're defending really, really well, we're allowing ourselves to keep getting these chances, whether they're 1, 2, or 3, or 4. And now we've got Harry Kane back in form.
Yes. Now they're in trouble.
It was looking unlikely, wasn't it? First half, it wasn't looking likely.
Now they're in Barney.
Listen, you two have already touched on Southgate and, maybe getting a lack of respect from certain divisions of England fans. He's had a World Cup semi-final to his name. He's had a fantastic start to this tournament. What do you make of him as England manager?
Southgate came in for a lot of criticism tonight for his starting 11. Do you think this answers the critics back in spectacular style?
I was one of them. I can't lie, I saw the starting 11 and I was just like, no Grealish, no Foden, no Mount, but we got the job done, do you know what I mean? I'm still backing it with Grealish though. Grealish should be playing. But yeah, no, bro, we haven't conceded a single goal. Like, Southgate, as much as it is, even if people say it's boring, we're winning games and not conceding goals, and it's as simple as that, man.
He is the man. He's the man to take. We're going to win. Football's coming home, mate.
Southgate come a lot of stick for his team selection before the match. How far does this go to justify Gareth Southgate's selection, in your opinion, bruv?
Well, the problem is everyone keeps giving him stick about his selection, but we're in the quarterfinals. We haven't conceded a goal, so the people that keep giving him stick about his selection, I mean, he's proved that he's right every time, hasn't he? Have
you got a message to these people at home that keep giving Gareth stick or not getting behind the team?
I have, yeah. Leave him alone because football's coming on!
Leave Southie alone because it's coming home. I quite like that.
Have you got any poetry in you?
Not at the moment, no.
I'll tell you what, though, you have got a fact in you. We're going to get that in the next quarter. I know you've got one. It's got something to do with me.
What?
Oh, we're not doing that one?
No, I've got another one, I think.
Okay. And we're going to find out what's in your
Interesting
bag
one.
in a bit as well. Can you argue with certain fans maybe a month ago who thought there were question marks over Southgate's name?
Listen, you're always going to have fans, saying, unless you win something, we've always had this conversation, since 1966, because we haven't won anything in any major tournament. So you're always going to have this kind of answer, is he the right man for the job? We hear it so many times, is he the right man for the job? We've shown in 2018, getting to the semi-finals.
Should have won it though, right?
Should have won it.
Yeah.
Should have won it. You won't get an easy opportunity to you. When I say easy, I don't mean easy, but with the teams that we had to play in it, it was there for us to take the World Cup, and now we're in exactly the same situation. So, and I said before, we even did the show, if we don't get to the semis, it's going to be classed as a failure, and rightly so. And now we're in a prime position with the journey that we've got with the teams we're going to play against, whether it's Ukraine in the quarters or Denmark and Czech in the semis. We've got to get to the final, and if we don't, then fans will be questioning Gareth Southgate.
One of the things that I like, and I've mentioned it before, is that changing the dynamic between the England camp and the media. We saw in 2018 they were invited to do things. This tournament, they're having competitions between the players and the staff playing darts, and I think that just adds something different, and it takes that media pressure away almost. And I think that's something that probably Southgate is well positioned to understand the benefit of doing something like that. And I think that does, there's a lot to be said for doing something like that and making these players more relatable. But as well, one of my favourite things about this English squad, there's no complacency. There don't seem to be any egos. They're all from humble backgrounds.
That's it, isn't
and
it?
I think that's such a big thing for an outsider watching this England side. If I take my Welsh hat off, you do... A lot of them are likeable people.
Yeah,
they are. But I think there are egos in the team, and I think you've got to have egos in the team.
Yeah, but they're nice egos. They're not,
they're not flash. They're not. You know what I mean? They know it's a collective team game.
Yeah.
But I think if you're going to be the best player and be the best teams, you've got to have egos. And I played in teams with Cantona, people like that. Guys, they had egos.
See, I don't see anyone in that English team having that aura.
Yeah, they do. I think Harry Kane's got that aura.
Do you?
I look at Sterling, I look at Jack Grealish, the way they come on the pitch, the way they carry themselves. They might be different to the egos that we class it as,
yeah.
but they've got egos because they have to have the ego to go on a pitch and say, listen, I can perform.
The good thing is, you're right, there are egos on the pitch, but they all back each other. Like
Yes.
when Kane finally got his goal, you saw everybody jumping on him.
Correctamundo.
And it was amazing, wasn't it, to
Yeah.
see. There's a real team spirit in this England squad. And when it comes to the starting 11, I always like to get your thoughts and your thoughts on who's going to be out there. Should we get into his 11 after the break? What do you reckon?
I guess we have to, don't we?
I think we do. Also, I really want to know what's in your Barnet. I've been thinking about it for the last 45 minutes. So we need to know that, and I want to know your facts as well. Plus, if you haven't already downloaded the Pitch Football app, get on there. 4Play is an amazing feature. Fan Time is where you can record videos of yourself that could feature right here on this show. You can ask Mr. Ince himself, the man with one of the most illustrious careers in English football, any question you want, and he will answer it for you. Am I right?
Correctamundo.
We'll be back after the break, and that is Correctamundo, amigo.
They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. I gotta take a shot, now pass me the ball. Always wanna stop. They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. I gotta take a shot, now pass me the ball.
Welcome back to Pitch Football at the Euros with me, Ian, Abby, and Ince. Sorry, I'm excited for loads of reasons. Of course, cannot wait to watch England later on tonight. But more importantly, no, it's not more important. Ince's fact of the day first. Let's
I'd
go
argue
with.
it is.
Here we go.
I had a couple, to be fair, but I'm going to give you this little fact. Me and Abby, sorry, thank you. So very kind. Me and Abby were talking about, booking our flights, unfortunately for next week going back, and it kind of said to me that was a fact. In 1987, American Airlines, decided that in first class they would take an olive away from every salad bowl in the first class department, and it saved themselves $40,000.
What?
$40,000 by taking an olive out of every salad bowl in first class in 1987.
I can't tell if you're stitching us up or whether these are actually...
Well, I'm sure people will come back and say my facts are wrong.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
But no one has since then. We've been
I
here
don't
for
know if I'm a
3.5
mug.
weeks.
Are we mugged?
I feel like...
Have we been mugged off
yeah.
here? Olives don't cost that much money.
Over 1987, $40,000 they saved.
Just in the 1 year?
Just in first class, 1987.
Wow.
That's a fact for you, guys.
That's a man who travels first
You never,
class. He knows these things. He knows these things. All right. So
What's first class?
I walk everywhere.
Yeah.
Look, so Abby, we haven't asked you what's been in your Barnet for a while.
Yeah.
Can we? We've never really spoken about it. You've got a very unique look. It's fresh out of the last time England won a trophy.
That's not why I do this.
I think it is, but it's fascinating and I love it. You're very into the '60s vibe, aren't you?
Absolutely. The music, the way of life, everything about it. I've never conformed and I'm not about to start conforming, so...
How do we do this? How does this happen?
Just a lot of hairspray. Honestly, when you take it out, I look like Asu Akoto.
And are you going to tell the guys what you're buying when you get back to go with that look?
Oh, a Vespa. So,
She's
yeah.
gonna buy a
What I
Vespa.
need, though...
okay.
What
So
I
I'm
don't...
want a picture of Abby on the Vespa
What
when
I
we get
don't
back.
know, I don't know how I'm going to get a helmet
Over that.
fits that. I might have to have a hole in the helmet, which then
Just
kind
rubbed
of
out the
defeats
top.
the
Sticks out.
object of having a
I
helmet.
wouldn't recommend
so,
that.
yeah.
Abby on the Vespa. Beautiful.
All right, so we get to ask you several yes or no questions
Yes.
as we try and determine what is inside your Barnet. Would
Yeah.
you like to go first, Mr. Ince?
No, I think you went first last time when we got it right, didn't we?
Oh, so I go first then, yeah?
Yeah.
Gosh.
Is it red?
Yeah.
Is it tomato?
Did you watch me do this?
No.
Swear down.
It's not a tomato, but you're close.
Is it an apple?
No.
No, I'm closer to tomato. So it's got to be red.
Is it a group? Is it a bunch of tomatoes?
Is it a grape? No. But it's closer to tomato. So what's closer to a tomato? Tomato.
It's red.
It's red. Tomato.
It may be something to do with the tomato.
Is it a pepper? Chili
Ketchup.
pepper?
Yeah.
Is it ketchup?
Ketchup.
And do you know what? Do you know what?
Why did I say red?
So,
That's my one.
well, you
No,
gave
you
it
like
to
it in a
me.
carton.
You
Yeah, I
gave
like
it to
the
me.
carton. I gave
So
it to
the
her.
reason is I keep a minimum of 6 of these in my makeup bag, and that does say everything you need to know about me. I just think it's the most important thing to carry around with you, just in case, because you never want to be given dry chips.
It's true.
Or a burger with not enough ketchup in it.
Absolutely.
No, it doesn't
it
work,
ruins
does
your
it?
day.
Yeah,
it
it
genuinely
does.
ruins
It
your
does.
day.
Big
So
Mac,
yeah,
large fries,
That's
carrot
my one,
ketchup.
by the way. I was one of those short the other day.
you gave it to me.
Oh, did I?
We went for a lovely McDonald's.
I'm a mailman person.
And can I just say, I've never seen someone so infuriated when trying to ask for a vegan burger.
I couldn't believe it, honestly.
He was
I said to
sweating,
her, can
he
I have a
was
veggie
sweating.
burger? And she went, sorry? I said, a veggie burger. She went, no cheese, no mayonnaise. I went, no cheese, no mayonnaise. She went, sorry, no cheese on it. Well, what about mayonnaise? No mayonnaise on it.
Oh, my word.
So I was there for about 10 minutes ordering a veggie burger.
He was sweating.
That sounds like my
he
nightmare.
was absolutely. He looked at me. If looks could kill, we went past that bit and he just went, veggie burger, and that was just it. Yeah.
Right, let's get back. That was fun. I now know about first class flights and ketchup and
Yeah.
all sorts of stuff. But let's talk about England-Ukraine. This is it. It's time for Ince's starting 11. That's what you're here for, and that's what you want. Let's go.
Right. I'm going 4-3-3. I don't think we need to go with 3 at the back against Ukraine. Not to say that we're underestimating them as a team, but you know they haven't got the quality that we've got. So I think, you know, even though it's in Rome, we're not sure. You know, as Abby said, there's going to be any fans at this moment of time. So we're going to have to kind of create our own intensity. You know what I mean? So I will go same back 5. I'll play back 4. I'm going to go Pickford, Walker, Stones, Maguire, Shaw. I'm going to go Declan, Rice, Calvin. I'm not sure about Calvin Phillips because they're both on yellow cards.
Yeah.
No, so I might probably throw Henderson in there instead of maybe Calvin Phillips, just to, you know, because I don't think it's going to be a game where, you know, we need to probably.
A lot of pressure on him, though. Do you think?
On who?
Henderson.
He's used
Listen,
to big
he's played
pressure.
in Champions League
Yeah,
finals, you know what I mean? He's been playing in the team that's been chasing City for the last 2 or 3 years. So I don't see any problem for him. He can deal with that type of stuff. And I'll actually play Grealish as a number 10. I think we talked about not starting, coming an impact player. This is a time where you could probably throw him in and really go for the Ukrainians, you know. And obviously, we've got the wonder kid Sterling on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Who got Harry Kane,
Goal
banging
machine.
form, goal machine. And we've got the young lion on the right wing, and it has in Saka.
That sounds good.
Let's go for him, because it's a game we can't just sit back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we
So you don't think the answer is being defensively minded in this game?
I don't think it is. I think you can always change it. I mean, we can start off with 2 holding, and I think then you can change it as the game goes on, and maybe just have 1 holding and 2 attacking, depending how you want to play it. But for safety reasons, just kind of get in the game first. We've got too much quality for them.
Yeah.
You know, if we don't beat it, it would be probably one of the worst results of all time. Because I watched the Ukrainians the other day; they weren't great, as Abby said.
There's no urgency, is
there's no
there?
urgency. They might have a few injuries. They went down like flies.
But
which
they
is
are
killing
in the
game.
quarterfinals.
Yeah, they are, but you know, I
I-
still don't think they're going to be any problem to England whatsoever. And that's not me being complacent. It's just on what I've seen from the Ukrainians.
I think the biggest issue is you've now got 4 players on a yellow card. So you've got Maguire, Foden, and then Calvin Phillips and Declan Rice. And I think, as a Welsh fan, you know, when we reached the semi-finals in 2016, I don't know if you know about that, but we reached the semi-finals, and
Can we cut that out?
we were without Ramsey and Davis, and it made such a big difference. I think it is. We've mentioned it before. It's ludicrous that you carry those yellow cards up until the end of the quarterfinals. But you know, this is the last stage where you want to be missing a player for the semi-finals. So I think that's the only reason I'd probably change one of the hold-ins, like you said.
Yeah, probably because if I fair, I mean, I missed it. You know, I missed the Spanish game. You know, in the Euros. So it's devastating, you know, when you're playing the game, you know, and all of a sudden you can't play in the quarterfinals because you've got 2 yellow cards. And as a player, you know, it's the worst feeling because you feel like you should be out there. I understand it group stages, but once you get past the last 16, you know, they should just cut all that rubbish out. Yeah.
How much does it impact you, though, if you pick up, say you're Calvin Phillips, you pick up a yellow card in the first 20 minutes, and then you've got to play the rest of that game knowing that you're not going to be able to play in the semi-final? Is it a bit of a, when you're on the pitch, do you feel that? Do you sense it?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult because obviously, you know, when I was playing, it was like, wow, I'm missing the next game, but I've got to continue because it's not about me.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a bit like Gaz in 1990 when he, you know, was missing the next game, and you could see it affected him and the whole team. But I think as a player, you can't have that mindset when you go out on the pitch.
Yeah.
You know, that I'm on the yellow card, so I'm not going to tackle. I'm not going to.
Yeah.
You know, I'm all standing off people. Otherwise, you know, you won't have a good game. So, but I think if you do get that yellow card, instantly it comes in your head.
Yeah.
But then instantly it goes out your head.
Yeah.
There's still a job to be done.
Let me ask you about Sterling, right? So we've seen him. He's bagged 3 goals. He is in form. Do you back him to score more, or do you think there've been elements of luck that have come into it? Like, because ideally at a tournament at this stage, you want a forward who is banging form. But do you see Sterling as a man who can score more and more, or are you now sort of passing the baton on Harry Kane?
No, listen, I'm not passing. If I'm Sterling, I'm not passing the bat on to anyone.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we look at Sterling, and we got a lot to thank Pep for. You know, because Pep's kind of improved Sterling. You know, the position that he takes. You know, coming off that left side. You know, getting a goal at the far post. He wouldn't have done that 4 or 5 years ago. So Pep's coached him into, mate, this is the areas you need to be if you're going to score goals. And we've seen that in the Premier League, and now we're seeing it for England. And we always said it can't be just based on one player.
Yeah.
Now we've got Harry Kane hopefully mucking in a bit. You know what I mean? So, but Sterling will keep making those runs. I think from a performance point of view, I think he's been outstanding. He's been our player of the team, not just the way he goes forward, but the way he works back. I mean, it was funny when he gave that ball away against Germany. Just to see his reaction, he was like, "Oh, please don't score." So that's the worst feeling in the world I can say as a player. But you know, he's someone that you look at in the change room and think, yeah, I'm glad he's banging for him. I'm glad he's playing well.
Yeah.
He's going to create chances. He's going to get chances. And
you think he'll score more?
Yeah.
I do, and people say about being in the right place at the right time. That only comes when you're in form and you're playing with confidence that you do that. And he has had to carry the attack force at times. And I think we might even see him with a bit more freedom now that other players are chipping in with goals as well. One question I'm going to ask you quickly: the draft excluder when you're defending set pieces. Terrible, isn't it?
A what?
The draft excluder, when you've got a man lying on the floor behind your wall. Tell me how...
The draft excluder, we call it?
Yeah. Tell me how disastrous that is.
I mean, I don't get it.
No.
How many free kicks do you really see that go low underneath some player? And if people are actually clever, we're actually wasting a man behind the wall.
Yeah.
So why don't we just overload it and go put 5 of their men over that side? It doesn't make sense. And you're just lying there, sitting there. It's like you're half asleep, isn't it?
That is a draft excluder, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. We've not seen one free kick in this tournament where it's gone low.
Exactly.
It's just like a new little gimmick that we're doing at the moment, and I don't like it at all.
Pathetic.
Yes.
A chance to chill though, for it.
Yeah. I'll be the draft excluder. Do you know what? If I was a footballer, I'd come into my own there. I'd be like, I'll take that one for the team. And they lie with their front to the ball. If you've got anything about you, you're protecting that and going the other way, aren't you?
Whoa.
Anyway.
50 seconds, I just realised.
Oh, wow.
Predictions. Crikey. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go England, Ukraine. Prediction.
4-0 England.
What do you think?
I'm going 3-0, but I think Zinchenko will come close as well.
I've completely forgot the other game. Czech Republic versus Denmark.
2-1 Czech Republic.
1-0.
Okay.
Can I go 1-0? Have a result.
All right, 2-1 Denmark after extra time.
Okay, there we go. Right, that is it from us. Come on, England. I hope you put on a wonderful performance. I hope you watching the game have an incredible evening. We will be back when it comes to semi-finals time, hopefully with more England conversation. Me, Incy and Abby, will be back then. Enjoy your night.
They say life is a game, gotta have your goals. I gotta take a shot, now pass me the ball. Always wanna stop me when I'm running the ball.